guys. So, if you've been listening to the podcast for a bit now, you all know that we are diehard Panther fans. Early this season, we were happy and then disappointed with the team's play. But this past week, our days were made for sure when we re signed Cam Newton. He returns to Carolina, hasn't been here since March of 2020, and he made his re debut for the Panthers against the Cardinals. And that game was an absolute domination. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were out, but still, I was very impressed with how the Panthers played.
Yeah, this was a great Sunday, and definitely a great day when Cam came back to the team. I mean that was just untouchable day for me. I will give a quick overview of the stats, mainly for the Panthers, because I mean the Cardinals really didn't do anything. So PJ Walker did play most of the QB snaps. He went 22 for 29, pretty good efficiency, 167 yards. He only threw one interception and no touchdowns, but he did throw a 2-point conversion. Cam Newton came in and went 3 for 4, 8 yards. They kind of used him as a goal line threat. He comes in on his first play and rushes in for the touchdown. I'm sure most people have seen by now him yelling he's back. And then he comes in on the next goal line play and throws a pass to Robbie Anderson. So very great usage for him. We probably see more of him as the season goes on. He's got to learn the playbook and everything. But I'm happy to see the way they mesh the offense and that they let PJ kind of, still get his moment. CMC was in this game as well. He had 95 rushing yards and 66 receiving yards. He did not find the end zone, but that's still dominant. Chuba Hubbard did rush for a touchdown, got 27 yards. Robbie Anderson had 37 yards, and he also, like I said, got that touchdown. PJ Walker fumbled twice, only lost one. Morgan Fox recovered a fumble from Colt McCoy, and Dante Jackson picked off Colt McCoy. Shaq Thompson also had the fastest sack of the season. It was a 1.8-second sack. He just flew through the O-line and took him down. And then Zane Gonzalez had himself a good game as well. He was the special teams player of the week for the NFC. He had 14 points out of the 34 that the Panthers scored. So yeah, definitely just a dominant game for the Panthers here. Great to see Cam come back and how he was used in the offense, kind of as just a dual weapon as he starts to get used to being on this team again. And as you said, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were not in this game. But we saw what this team did to the Niners. And then we saw this week what the Niners did to the Rams. So I think that this Cardinals team is still pretty good with Colt McCoy at the helm. They still got some good weapons out there. Chase Edmonds is also out. But still, that was a strong Cardinals team. And the defense did a really good job of holding them off. And their defense is still pretty good as well. And our offense just kind of rolled through and did what they had to do. It was in Arizona, very poetic. Cam's debut game in general, his first debut was also against Arizona. So this was just a nice moment as a Panther fan, and gives me a flare of hope for the rest of the season.
Talking about that first game in the 2011 season for Cam going into Arizona, he went absolutely full in that game. Our offense that season was crazy. He never really passed like that again, which is funny, until last season against Seattle. But yeah, it was just great to have Cam back. Obviously he's not going to come in and be the starter, a few days after getting signed. I mean, I saw some people assuming that was going to happen. I'm like, no, even though he was on the team not too long ago, but different system with Joe Brady in there now, Matt Rule running things, and the man hasn't played since preseason. So the smart thing to do was just come in and do exactly what he did, have him play a few plays. He had that long throw down the field to DJ Moore. It wasn't complete, but he got a pass interference out of it. It was underthrown. So he definitely needs to get his arm back into things. He had that shoulder injury that bothered him for so long. So, I think he's in good shape though. Cam doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's gonna, stop working out just because he's not on the team at all. So going forward, I think Cam absolutely should be the starter. I think he'll be fine to play against Washington now. We're not asking him to throw 35 times a game. Because heck, I mean, we need to get the ball to CMC. We did exactly what we need to do. Get him about 100 rushing yards, about 70 receiving yards, about 20 something carries or touches total. So that should be our offensive game plan going forward. Get Robbie Anderson involved. He definitely was a little unhappy with Sam Darnold in the last few games. for sure. Get DJ Moore back involved. And then that defense, obviously, without D Hop and without Kyler, the Cardinals' offense is dramatically different. But the defense is still great. And, after being maybe a little bit overrated in the first few games against inferior opponents, I think this defense is definitely showing, it's for real. Um, and with that defense and giving the ball to CMC, you have good receivers that Cam can throw to. And then, of course, Cam being who he is, he can make plays as well. I'm not going to act like we're going to win every game for the rest of the season. But considering how bad the bottom part of the NFC is as far as those last two wildcard spots are, I think we can definitely make a little run. Maybe get a wildcard spot and see how it goes with Cam as a starter going forward. I'm not really sure how they're going to handle Sam Darnold now, but Dave Tepper will figure it out. I mean, he's not afraid to make moves, that's for sure. So I think they'll figure it out. It all depends on how Cam and his team does in the last few weeks of the season.
I think if Cam can keep up the, just kind of get back into a groove and play like the, quarterback he once was, I think I would be fine with keeping the duo of PJ Walker and Cam Newton here. I mean, I'd even be fine switching them out and running some kind of, mix up offense. I think it works either way, as long as Sam Darnold is not a part of that mix up. So I would not be hurt if Sam Darnold was traded away or anything. It does suck that we signed him, we paid him, and we were paying Cam Newton's replacement, his replacement's replacement, and Cam Newton. That's a little bit of bad front office decisions, but I think we're back, hopefully, on the right track. And as the Saints kind of deal with this lack of Jameis Winston, I think that their spot is probably open for us to easily slide in. That should give us a stronger chance at getting a wild card slot. So we'll see how that goes. But I do think that a wild card spot is probably good for us, and it'd be fun to make a playoff run this year as Cam comes back to this team.